Good morning, everybody. It's Marg with Creative Stamping with Marg. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. Welcome. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So today we are going to do a quick and easy layout that I saw demonstrated by another demonstrator, Rose Coleman from Calgary, Alberta. She's Stampin' with Rose is her business name. She used two strips of DSP, 2.5 by 5, and today we are going to be using those two pieces of DSP from the package out of the annual catalog called Delightfully Eclectic, and it is a very large package of paper, 48 sheets of paper. I've used pieces out of it before. I love this daisy piece, and the background of it is petal pink, so that's what I've chosen for my card base, petal pink. This piece is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. It'll be a tent fold, so it'll stand up like this. And this is very simple. Obviously, you've got two pieces, and they can be laid anyway. And the way Rose did it, she said it's against her way that she normally does things, but she laid them at angles. And then you don't have to have them straight, you know, they don't have to be lined up in any way. So they can be laid any way you like at an angle. And basically, that's it. That's the layout. So they could be laid straight if you wanted it. You know, we could put them on straight like that. And she chose a fairly large focal point for her first card that I watched her do. Now I've chosen from the new dies, Nested Essential dies. They come from the annual catalog also. I've chosen the third from the smallest, the rectangle with the rounded corners. I've chosen that one right there. And I put it through the Splatters embossing folder. This is the one that comes two in a package, stripes and splatters. So this is splatters. So that is my focal point. I cut it out of petal pink also. And because we're using daisies, I thought I would use the Cheerful Daisies stamp set. So for my greeting, I've already done this on a piece of petal pink, wishing you the brightest birthday. And I've heat embossed it with white. So I thought that would go on there, and it sort of stands out a little bit, but it gets a little bit lost on there. So I thought out of the Cheerful Daisies dies, the largest die in Cheerful Daisies looks like this. And it has some really nice leaves on it, you know, nice detail on them. So I thought I will cut just the leaves out of white. So I laid this just down on my cut and emboss machine and just cut just the leaves, not the daisies. So there's the two leaves, and then they've got a little leaf on top of them. Sorry, I'll lay them there for you. So I cut two of them just in case I wanted, you know, them underneath my greeting. And the greeting, sorry, I didn't mention that. The greeting was cut out with this die from the Cheerful Daisies dies. So that's that die. And I liked it because it has a stitched edge, and so does my focal point there. Okay, so putting this together, like I said, you can put it straight, you can put it at an angle, whatever you think. So let's get this put together. And then I have a couple of other alternatives to show you that I've made. All right, I'm going to use, the other thing you can do is you could add a piece, another piece of paper behind here, and maybe emboss it if you wanted to give it some texture. Now, my thought on this is I really wanted the daisies to be the shining star of this, not so much this piece. So I'm going to sort of tuck this piece behind my daisies so it doesn't show maybe quite as much. So that's the opposite side of it with the tulips on it. It's really pretty. So I'll get this glued down, and I am going to glue it sort of the corner here and the corner at the bottom. And I am, like I said, kind of hiding it behind my daisies because I really want my daisies to be the part that shines. There's the opposite side of the daisies. It's got, it almost looks like lemons on it. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but It's pretty also. I could have used it as the other piece. Now this I'm going to put like that. And again, like I said, you can lay it any way you like. Now my focal point, I think I'm going to put it over here, and I'm just going to glue it down because I'm going to pop the greeting up on dimensionals. So I will just glue this right down. Like that. Now I need to reach for some dimensionals here. Okay. So I was thinking what I would do is put this greeting on here and have these leaves kind of sticking out to give it a bit of a, you could have added ribbon to this. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I will put my, just thinking, do I want to glue the leaves to the back of this or do I want to glue them down? I think I'm going to glue them down. So I will just lay them here, and just because this leaf is a good place for me to put a little bit of liquid glue, I don't like to glue everything down flat. I like it to have some, be a little bit loose so that it can, you know, almost move around, if you know what I'm saying. So I will put that like that. Now let's just see how I did. And I could offset that off that focal point. Not sure I like what I've done there, but okay. I'm going to put some dimensionals on my greeting. I'll just put 3 across so it doesn't sag in the middle. That, then pop them off of there. The backing's off. So as you can see, this is very quick and you can adapt it to, well, any papers, obviously, and make sure that's straight. Okay, and then this one I think I'm going to tuck over there. So again, I will just put a little bit of glue on the back of this. It's finding a little spot that is a bit wider so that I can put some glue on it. All right. And I'm just going to tuck it in the end here, I think, just like that. Perfect. All right, and they're not glued down, and I like that because they just gives this a little bit of, you know, movement, makes it more interesting. So that's the outside of our card. We'll do some embellishing in a minute. I'm going to let that dry. On the inside, I've just used the deckled rectangles, and I cut a piece of white, and I will glue this in, and I have a strip of the daisy paper. I think it's a 1/2 inch strip, and I'm just going to put it at the bottom. So I'm just going to center that as best I can. That's not very straight. There, and I'll put a little bit of glue on this strip and just glue it to the bottom. And that's our card. So I did go searching for some kind of embellishments for this card, and we have pastel adhesive backed sequins that had petal pink, or it says it's petal pink. So I thought, oh, perfect, because my card's petal pink. And I wasn't very happy with them, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. Now, as you can see, this is sticking off the edge here. So I just turn my card over and trim it off. I've had people ask me what I do to the back of my cards, and I don't often show you this, but I always stamp them with Stampin' Up. I do sell my cards fairly often, and this is just a heart that I've cut out of the designer series paper, and then I just put my initials on it. So I like to take credit for the things that I've made, and I think you should too. So I like it when they're signed on the back. All right, so the pastel adhesive backed sequins come in, 2 sizes. So there's large and there's the small, and they're saying these are petal pink, but I don't know. They're just too pink for me and I didn't really like them, but I thought the gold looked really good. So I'm going to use the gold on these ones. I'll get my take your pick tool and let's see, I guess we'll use one large one. Maybe I'll put it right there. And a couple of smaller ones, and I think I'll put them down here. There we go. All right, so that's our card. 2.5 by 5 inch strips of DSP, placed any way you like on your card front. Very easy, very quick. So I'll show you my other ones. Now this card I made, it's using retired paper, but it's closer to the one that I saw Rose demonstrate. She used this, the largest stylish shape stitch circle, and then did her greeting on it. So the 2 pieces of DSP are here. There's my focal point. I did use some ribbon on this one, and I opened it to this, and you know, I'm trying to use up my DSP, so I used a full piece of DSP in the back here, and again, a piece of white with the deckled rectangles. So there's that one. Then I did this one with the Irresistible Blooms paper, and it's on a white card base. I did stamp the back of the white card base with the leaf stamp out of Irresistible Blooms using the soft seafoam ink, and I just stamped it around the edges. And then these pieces, you'll notice, are backed with a piece of soft seafoam. They weren't quite 2.5 inches. I actually think they might be, whoops, they were 2 1/8, but I thought, oh, there's scrap pieces that I'd cut off another piece, and I thought I want to use them. So I just backed them. And again, it's the same idea, but I just adapted it to what I had. Soft seafoam ribbon. There's my focal point. I used the stylish shape square stamped on it. And then on the inside, this is thick basic white, so I just stamped the leaves again on the inside. So that's a bit different one. And again, just using what I had, I pulled that paper out, and I did have the strips, but I thought, oh, they're smaller. But I made it work by backing them onto a piece of cardstock. So that's our card for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I know that I had lots of strips of paper to get using up of my DSP. So hope everybody has a good week. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week.